All right, let's keep things moving. Courtney Antonioli is our next storyteller. She's performed stories at The Moth, she's performed at Access Theater, The Pit, Tell It Brooklyn, Split Personality, and the Word Storytelling Show. What I'm really excited to share with you is that she has a really great online show called Stay Golden, and it's a documentary-based show on a fan reboot of the Golden Girls. And she does mashups. In fact, she just recently did a mashup with the Golden Girls and Arrested Development, and tonight is the Arrested Development bingo, by the way, you can stay. But I'm sure you can find it online. Please welcome Courtney Antonioli. Thank you.
So it's 1995, I'm in 5th grade. I've got braces that I change the color of the elastics to every holiday. I've got an Old Navy performance fleece that I wear all the time. I've got these weird in-between boobs, like I could be growing mammary glands or I've got 2 benign tumors. My mom has just given me a Tom Cruise Top Gun haircut that is so prolific in making me look like a boy that I go into Miss Frank's class the next day and she thinks there's a new boy in school and nobody's told her. It's a Saturday now and I'm at my grandmother's house. I've got an all-day soccer tournament and before I'm about to go, my coach is picking me up, my grandma tells me, you should go pee. And I'm like, yeah, I should definitely go do that. And so I do, and sometimes I like to look because sometimes you like to look. And I look down and it's almost like I pissed out half of Christmas. The red half of Christmas. And I don't understand what's happening to me and I immediately am convinced I'm dying because also at 10 I'm obsessed with dying. And I panic and I'm just rubbing and rubbing and it's still red and I just scream for my grandmother to come. But she's like 100,000 years old, so it takes her a really long time to come to the bathroom. So while I'm sitting there, I plan my own funeral. I think about what's 10-year-old Courtney, what they're going to talk about, and I'm just dripping like a coffee machine into the toilet. She comes about 8 years later, and she sees me, and I'm like, I'm dying, which you don't tell an elderly woman. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm dying, and I show her, and I'm just red everywhere, and she gets me a wad of toilet paper and some of her old granny tissue sleeves, and she just hands it to me, and she's like, put it there. And so like I'm just now over the toilet just holding this wad to me like a battlefield wound, and we're both trying to figure out what's happening because she hasn't had her period since Vietnam, and she doesn't remember this happens, and I didn't have that one health class you get at the end of 5th grade that tells you that you're gonna get your period one day because mine came so early. So we keep sitting there until it finally dawns on her that I just got my period. And I'm still holding this wad that's getting redder because I've got the most epic first period in all of Naugatuck, Connecticut. And she's like, all right, okay, I got something. And she goes away and she starts rummaging through these cupboards and she pulls out this dust-filled package. My grandmother has Kotex from 1980 still in her house, which was also my mother's Kotex from 1980 when she lived in that house. This Kotex is so old, it doesn't have wings. It's like mummy gauze. The glue is rubbing off. The little protective strip fell off and disintegrated years ago. And I'm still sitting here holding my tissue paper pad, and she hands it to me and she's like, you put this between your legs. And I do, and it's like a porterhouse steak between my legs. A raw porterhouse steak between my legs. And my coach is about to come any second, and she doesn't tell me anything else about this. And she's like, oh, you gotta go, Joe's gonna be here. So she hands me a couple more and I go. And today I have an all-day soccer tournament with my Purple People Eaters team. We've got at least 3 games and no subs, which means I'm playing every game. She doesn't tell me things that you're supposed to tell people when you get your period. she doesn't tell me you're supposed to change your Kotex at some point during the day. So, at around the second game, halftime, between my vagina and the porterhouse steak is what would accumulate if you had poured hot fudge on an ice cream sundae. And some of it was still a little warm, some of it was a little cold, half of it had melted, and the rest had just cooled. All congealed in there, and I'm just running up and down the field touching myself because I don't know what to do with this wingless T-bone. It's hydroplaning now, it's so wet between my thighs, and I'm just going up and down, and I'm like, it's weird, and people think it's weird, and I know it's weird, and I haven't asked any of the girls on the team if it's weird, or did they get their period, or what do you do, and I just keep going, and I'm like just slide tackling, holding my crotch. I can't do an overhead throw because I'm afraid to let go of my crotch. And I go the whole day, this tournament, not changing my Kotex, not saying anything to anybody, and just feeling horrified and still convinced I'm dying. I go home, my coach drops me off. I haven't talked to my parents all day. I walk in the front door, and there's my mom, and there's my dad, and a Carvel ice cream cake, and a sign that says, "Congratulations." My mother has decided to throw me a "you got your period" party. The only guests are me, my mom, and my dad. And my dad is horrified in the corner. And my mom is like, "You want to cut your cake?" And I'm like, I'm still haven't changed this thing. It's starting to pull my people eater shorts down. It's so heavy, guys, and the smell is so bloody and fishy. Which apparently is normal, but I still didn't know that in 5th grade. You didn't change your Kotex for 10 hours. And so my mom's like, "Do you want to have some cake? You love crunchies." And I do love crunchies. But I am just so mortified and so terrified. And I see my dad, and it's like I betrayed him just now. And my mom is getting really angry because I'm not appreciating the cake she just got for me. And I can't believe you just did that to me, Courtney. And I'm like, "I know, Mom. I'm so awful." And I just go upstairs. I don't change that Kotex, by the way, until the next day. So that is the middle of 5th grade for me. And I become like a Kotex ninja the rest of the year because I realized that none of the other girls have gotten it in 5th grade but me. And I hide it on me, like I only wear clothes that have at least 4 or 5 pockets and zippy pockets because I'm afraid it's gonna fall out, and my hand is constantly in my pants because I gotta make sure it's there, and I'm very weird about going to the bathroom all of a sudden, and my teachers don't know why, and I'm not gonna say anything why, and my boobs are now boobs, they're not benign tumors, and I've got a training bra that I refuse to wash because my dad does the laundry and he's gonna see it and I don't want him to, so it becomes gray and grimy and it's falling apart, and I wear that thing straight into like 8th grade. I don't talk about my period to anybody. All the other girls have their periods, and they're talking about it now in 6th and 7th grade, and isn't it great? And oh my God, yeah, and I'm just pretending I don't have it. Like I pretend I don't have it clear into high school because I am just so horrified. I also don't learn how to use a Kotex properly for a long time. I don't learn how to use a tampon until I'm clear into 25. That was only 4 years ago. And whenever I see a Carvel cake or a congratulations sign, all I can do is see my father's horrified face. And that's going to be with me forever.
I wanted to add another D when they're talking about education for women's health and periods. Dripping like a coffee machine would be a nice explanation for young girls and periods, because that visual was amazing and so true. That's how it is when it starts, like a coffee machine. So I might submit that to Videology.
Without a timer that you set, like that's the...
Yes.